Hi, this is Pam, and my whining dog is at my feet. Ziggy, he may appear at any moment. I'm doing something a little bit different today. This is my friend Allison Douglas, who is a teacher and administrator at a Chicago area community college. And she's a good friend. And she's joining me because I want to start introducing you to some of the people who have taken my animal communication class. And this isn't an advertisement, so don't leave. It's not about my class. It's about people who might not have expected the benefits from the class and sharing what they gained from learning how to communicate with animals. And Allison has shared some of this with me over the couple of years. And I thought, some people think animal communication is cool. They know that it works. They hire me or other people to speak to their animals, but they may not understand the benefits of actually learning how to do it themselves. So I'm going to ask Allie some questions. Yes, I know some of the answers, but she was not coached. This is just supposed to be a conversation coming from her heart. And so my first question is two questions. Why you took the class? What moved you to take the class? We've known each other for a while and you hadn't expressed an interest in taking the class. And what your expectations were. I'm going to do this because, okay, take it away, Allie.
Okay. I think that I decided that I wanted to take the class because you had helped my kitty through some surgery, and that was cool. And at one point you had come to visit after the surgery, and I felt something between you and my cat that you'd never met. And I just really thought I need to get some of that for me. It was just there was such a spark there. And so when you had a class opening, I thought, well, I'm going to do that. And I did not, my expectation, I did not expect what I got. I expected to be bad at it.
Oh, very common.
I expected, honestly, nothing. I thought I was going to take this class. Pam's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to happen. And oh, well, I tried. That was honestly was my expectation.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that because so many people are sure they can't do it. And one of the things we talk about is the fact that everybody already knows how to do this. And I'm just reminding you how. But so many people then talk themselves out of doing it because they're sure they can't. And just for our viewers here, this is a live class on Zoom, but it's live and interactive. It's not something you can download and do by yourself. It's a group interaction, small group, 4 to 6 people, sometimes more. So I'm so glad you said that. Okay, so you didn't think anything would come of it, but what the heck, you thought you'd try. And so can you talk about your experience? Again, it's not an ad for my class, but it kind of is. but what you experienced, and both in the class and outside of it, just talk about what happened after you.
Yeah. Well, so in the class, I have to say the first session, was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was sure this wasn't going to work. And you had us do a cute little thing where we looked into each other's eyes, and I was full of this is crap.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Oh, and other people, the partners I was partnering with were like, I feel the snow, I feel the air, this is fabulous. And I'm like, I got nothing.
So we were just to tell the viewers what we're doing. I start you speaking, trying to communicate with each other non-verbally before we move on to the animals. And so there's exercises where you're paired up, and one of them is passing a feeling, passing a color. And so that's what Allie's talking about, which was crap. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So it didn't do, I knew I couldn't do it, and I didn't do it. But then I was paired with someone who shared back what she got from me. And it was amazing. It was just, she didn't see my person, but she saw something that just struck such a chord with me. And so that started me thinking, well, that was interesting. I wish I could do that. And then we had homework assignments, and I'm one that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to commit to it. And so I did my homework, and I had several experiences where, I was talking to a friend's dog, and, talking to a friend's dog, okay, lady, whatever. And then things I saw were real. And then I was hooked
because it worked.
because it worked.
You experienced it. So the homework, again, for the viewer, the homework was just talking to critters. It's a 2-session class. Well, yours might have been 4 if it was at
I think
night.
it was 3.
Okay, so it's usually 2, but depending, sometimes I change the time of day for people on the other side of the world. So, so the assignment is to try this, to do it. Okay, and you started seeing that it actually works. See, I didn't even heard all this. So you saw, oh, I can do this. It actually works. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I kept saying, well, that was a fluke. Well, that wasn't, and so at first we talked to the classmates' animals.
Mhm.
And, it's kind of like, well, whatever. Of course they're going to say I'm right.
Oh, no.
Because, of course they are, because we're all playing this game, whatever. But then I talked to people that were not in the class or talked to their animals. And that was when I started to really feel it and trust it, because they kept saying, oh my gosh, that's true.
Okay. So now I'm going to move. This is awesome. Thank you. So now I'm going to move you along to, you took my level 2 class.
Yes.
So it wasn't just, oh, let me just dip my toe in here and see what I can do in the level 1 class. And oh yeah, that was cool. It worked. What possessed you to continue with it's a 3-month guided class. I'm telling folks, there's a lot, you really commit to going deeper. So why did you do
Well,
that?
and I may have been ahead of myself in my storytelling there, because I'm not sure when we started talking to other people's animals. That might have actually been in the second session, but there was some point in the first session where I felt like there's something here, and that I could do it. And then I wanted to explore that more. And so in the second session, I believe, is when I started, meeting with other people's animals and starting to feel a spiritual growth, blossom, something that was so completely unexpected. Just cleansing, amazing. And then, it was just amazing.
And that happened on your own. I want to make clear to people, I don't sit there talking spiritual guru stuff.
No, exactly.
Exactly. It's a spiritual practice when you get into it more deeply. Yeah, but you weren't expecting that, and that's cool, because then it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
You could accept that it was happening. Can you talk about that more? What you experienced? And I'm really interested in knowing how it affected your life out. Okay. Obviously, when we speak to our animals, that's very helpful. It's very helpful. It fosters a stronger bond, I think. And when there's a problem, you can maybe hear it, or maybe you have to get somebody else too, because sometimes we're too close to our own animals. But you can help other people, your friends, with their animal. I mean, it's just a nice skill to have uncovered. It's an art form to recognize that we have. It's empowering and it's awesome. But then how does that, you've expressed to me that it had ramifications beyond that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to do my best to explain that. So
fine, take your time.
As I was connecting with these animals, I started to feel, for lack of a better vision, it was sort of like a train station with tunnels, and that I could kind of open doors and connect with different animals.
A train station with tunnels or with platforms, you mean?
Yeah. And a train station is not a great image, but it was what came to me. And that, being in that place where I had the potential of connecting, had this impact on me that was really rooting. Like, I felt so connected in that place. And that was deeply spiritual for me, and just so surprising. And I guess what I found now, and what has that huge impact on me and moving forward, is that that's become less of a train station and more of a web. And that
I'm sorry, more of a what?
More of a web.
A web.
And I feel I can reach that place of connection, even if I'm not talking to an animal.
Connection
to, I don't know what, just
Okay.
this
Okay.
connection, so that I'm more rooted and I'm more connected. And when things are weird in life, it's that yoga breath, but it's that sense of you're on the ground
Mm,
and you're not alone.
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it was very profound.
And it's with you all the time?
Um, if I tap into it,
Right.
it's not a constant noise in my head,
Okay.
but I can just take a breath and I can be there.
Find that place.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's wonderful. Okay. This is great. So anything else? This is lovely. If you want to go on, anything else you want to add to why this can be a useful, I don't even want to say skill. It starts, I think, in the level one class, it kind of in mine, there's other classes, whoever. It starts as a skill, right? As a craft. And then the more you do it, the more it becomes something bigger and
A practice.
a practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you talk more about that.
So it's become more, I miss it if I'm not doing it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's gotten me, certainly with my own animals, to a place where I trust more what I'm hearing.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
but there's something powerful about being able to reach across space to another being.
mhm.
And it opens up so much possibility for me, and so much more trust in, I don't want to say intuition, but that's the word that's coming to mind, that internal knowing that
Mhm.
I think that our world teaches us to ignore.
Exactly.
And just like when I first heard animals responding to me, I was ignoring that, even in our level one class, like, well, that's not a thing. And now, because I know that's a thing, I can trust other internal knowing in
Oh,
different.
very good. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So it opened up a piece that you can use in other ways that aren't just about communication.
Yes.
Yes, fabulous. And I want to point out to our viewers that you are not a professional communicator. You didn't learn this for a craft. You have a full-time, like
Yeah, I have a gig.
many, many, many hours job. That's not so for those of you who think you would take this just to become a communicator, no. Most people actually who take my classes don't become communicators. So, but there's value, as you're hearing from Ellie, there's tremendous value
Huge.
in opening up pieces of yourself that our culture has told us do not exist and that we
Mm-hmm.
forgot about. If you remember as a kid, you could do this. You could,
Mm-hmm. Do you have time for me to add one more thing, Pam?
yeah. And also, so I don't forget I wanted to know if it changed your relationship with your kitties, but go ahead. You add
Oh,
something.
well, the other thing that was a surprise to me that has affected me is that, because in the level two class we had to talk to people's pets outside of our class,
Hmm,
it's also opened up a connection for me with people that I would not have connected with.
interesting.
And I was so hesitant to say to someone, hey, I'm taking this animal communication class. I wanted to couch it in, I'm doing this weird thing.
Hmm.
And it was so interesting to find that I was already connecting to people who were open
Ah,
to
right, right.
what I was
Very
asking.
good. Yeah, you didn't approach people you knew wouldn't be. Yeah, yeah. Isn't that awesome? That
Right.
you
And
couldn't
then to
know.
have them say, oh, that's so cool. Would you talk
Yeah,
to my dog? So
that's
that has created another sense of connection as well.
that's a fabulous point that you start drawing those people into your
Yes.
your whatever your sphere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, can you say something about your kitties? Do you notice any change?
Um, yes. I mean, the fact that I trust more what I understand them to be saying, and that I'm more attuned to them when they're not well. One
Oh,
of my cats recently got sick, and I knew,
hmm,
I knew to say, something's wrong here.
hmm.
And so that's interesting. The other interesting thing is that my little kitten Beethoven, he's not really a kitten anymore, he's two, but he has he has also stepped into this practice. He has to be next to me. I don't tell him to, But
Mhm.
if I sit down to talk to an animal, he is there. And when we meet in for class, he has to be there. And as we're talking right now, he's sitting beside me. And that has just been super interesting to me. And that sometimes while I'm trying to speak to an animal, he will come up and nudge me in the right direction.
Fabulous.
And that's just been
Okay. Yeah,
hilarious
good.
and fascinating.
I love it, and I'm sure we could go on forever, but we're gonna stop now unless I left out something really important. Is there anything? And maybe we'll do a part two as you progress. You can share more stories. Thank you so much, Allie. This has
Thank
been
you.
great. And I've said yours. Allie's a dear friend of mine, but I didn't know all this. So, and I love I love hearing stories. Okay, so this is Pam Sorellis of Winged Horse Healing, and if you want to learn more about my classes or just animal communication in general, you can go to my website, wingedhorsehealing.com, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again.